Good morning, everyone. It's Leslie Flowers here. This is Think and Grow Rich, the stories and the concepts. Come on in. We have 45 minutes, and today we're talking about persistence. Let us know where you're calling from. And here's a little music as you're coming into the room to start your Friday morning. I hope you enjoy it. Love will abide. Take things in stride. Sounds like good advice, but there's no one at my side. And time washes clean love's wounds unseen. That's what someone told me, but I don't know what it means. 'Cause I've done everything I know to try and make you mine. And I think I'm gonna love you for a long time. Welcome, everybody. Get your coffee, water, tea, beer, depending on where you are in the world. Caught in my fears, blinking back the tears. I can't say you hurt me when you never let me near. And I never drew one response from you. And all the while you fell all over girls you never knew. 'Cause I've done everything I know to try and make you mine. And I think it's gonna hurt me for a long time. Ooh, look, everybody. So good to see you. Well, Nick. Hi. Hi, Aaron and Elizabeth. Wait for the day you go away, knowing that you warned me of the price I'd have to pay. And life's filled with flaws. Who knows the cause? Living in the memory of a love that never was. 'Cause I've done everything I know to try and change your mind. And I think I'm gonna miss you for a long time. 'Cause I've done everything I know to try and make you mine. And I think I'm gonna love you for a long time. Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited that you're here. I love that song, and is it appropriate for Think and Grow Rich? I don't know. I'm Leslie Flowers, and I love that song by Linda Ronstadt. And I just recently honestly heard it on Instagram, and I thought, I got to sing it again. So I hope you enjoyed it. And it set the vibration of love, unrequited love, but that's just somehow it works. Sometimes what we want more than anything, or we believe that we do, doesn't work. And so in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, today we're talking about persistence, the sustained effort to induce faith. There's a lot in that. So let me say hello to everybody. Good morning. There is dear Aaron calling from Calgary. If he's there in Canada, he could be somewhere else. There's my wonderful Elizabeth Borguez, friend of mine, who is a nurse and a hypnotherapist. She lives up in Rhode Island. And Love Melody runs an orphanage that when she reminds me, I invest in every year. So thank you for continuing to remind me, because it's really good work that you're doing for the children. And there's wonderful Nicole Guy Galindo, who is my co-host on Mondays, Mind Over Matter Mondays, good friend, accountability partner, kind of a family kind of friend. And Adrian. Good morning, Adrian. So glad you're here. Adrian lives up in New England, and she's a big supporter of work of value. And I'm just honored that I'm one of the people that she reposts. That's one of the things she does, and she does comment. But one of the things she does to support high value events is by reposting them. And there is Mark, my new friend, Mark Thumar. And a very wet Rhode Island, Elizabeth says, this is good. Okay, we're getting into a big weekend. I guess maybe that's it, is Memorial Day weekend. Have you got a big weekend planned? So let me just go through this really briefly. This is going to be one of the best. I think that this particular lesson, they're all good, but this one, persistence, it's an enigma. Everybody talks about faith. Everybody talks about persistence, but nobody tells you how to do it. Right? So how do we affect and implement these things? And that's what my work is, to share it with you in such a way that you go, oh, I get it. Because there is a lot of confusion as we're growing, and you may not always be ready for the answer, but you'll know. And my job is to say it and articulate it in a way that it lands as possible for you, that there's a clearing, because out of confusion comes order. And we don't take many steps when we're confused. So if we can get in order and think about this and see that you don't really have to know exactly how to do everything to know that it works. You don't need proof of faith or how it works. You just know it works because you've seen it work. And there's lovely Tracy, who is a wonderful friend and an intellect. Get to know her. She knows about audio and also about the art of war. I love it when girls take on these male subjects. And you'll see today we get a touch of that. Thank you, Adrian. Oh, thank you. And there's Christy. Good morning, Christy. Christy is a big supporter of this work and also does a lot of reposting, which I so appreciate. And she started to write her own posts now. So let's all support her for all that she's done for us. Let's see. Show a Duel, such a good new friend. And I think that does it in terms of, I won't have time to do everything, but we got a group here. So let's go. You're here because every week this consistent information embeds more easily and you absorb it into your mind. Now, let's go ahead. Oops, let me show do a lot. You could be with me the whole time, but I'll take you off here. I don't want to highlight you, although we could. So let's take a look at what we're going to do. Today is persistence. This is the sustained effort for you to produce faith. So the faith you already have right now, this is what you did. You just didn't know you did it. And the power in this repetition of this work, the thing that is so amazing about this book, I got to tell you guys, really, I mean, I read it over 90 times. It's terribly dog-eared, and it's actually literally at certain places starting to fall apart. It's 17 years old. And for 16 years, I've been teaching out of this book every single week. What have I done? I've done 65 goals. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. I brought 500 people with me who now know through repetition these principles of success. This is the #2 bestseller of all times, but it's big, it's thick, and we don't like stuff like that now. We have a very short attention span. We listen more than reading, which is fine. And before these classes begin every week, I listen to the chapter on an unabridged, right, audio to remind myself again and again and again. And so this week you'll get new, fresh things from me that I just listened to again, even though I know this. So why is it the #2 bestseller of all times? Because it's the roadmap to riches. But you have to be ready and willing to pour through this, or get with somebody who knows it, or come here every Friday. I suspect that many of you are already implementing many of the things that you're learning in each week. And I always recommend that you go back and repeat a lesson based on auto-suggestion. Okay, I'm checking the time here. Okay, let's make this bigger here. Or I could do this. Yeah, this might work. Okay, so this is what we've been doing over the 12 weeks. This is a linear training. This isn't the kind of book where you can go and read a chapter and then pick up another one, unless you've read it all. And you don't even have to read it all. What I've done over the last 17 years, I have actually consolidated a lot of these principles together. So you'll see, you won't see 13 here. But within each one, I will bring in other principles, such as mastermind, such as seeking specialized knowledge, right? When you need help, you don't just go ask anybody, because everybody has an opinion. But you want to seek expert advice from someone who knows about what you're doing, knows more than you. But you also have to be very cautious that you don't spill the beans about what you're doing, because they are the expert and they're going to tell you how to do it. Part of all of this is you're doing it yourself without knowing how. You can gather information, absolutely. But in reality, not knowing how will build your desire. So briefly here, I'm just taking the time again. We're doing good. So before you even begin with the first principle, which is desire, the starting point of all achievement, it's built upon your definite purpose, which is in the introduction. So read that again and again and again, because none of this works effectively unless you are super clear about what you want. And most people, when you ask them what they want, they say, well, I don't know what I want. Well, you could start with what you don't want. But it's very important that not only do you get crystal clear about one thing that you want very much, but why you want it, that you've never done it before, that you might have failed at before. So you're going to have to face some fear in order to build faith. So if you've already done it, you would have already done it, right? So it's that not knowing how that is part of the process. And that goes against what most of us think. I want to know how. But what you learn is that each day, each week, you're growing in awareness of your infinite potential, and things that you read before, you got something out of. But when you read them now, it's like you just opened the book again, because you have been growing in awareness. And awareness on Monday, Nicole and I are talking about the 7 levels of emotional intelligence. And we talked about business and how to use where we are on those 7 levels so that we can help other people who we would have to step down and meet them where they are. But we did this for business. Monday, we're doing family because that's a tough one. It's tough to help people in your family, even when you've done this work, because you tend to get back in the same rut. At least I do anyway. Okay. So you've got your definite purpose. Then you pull out of the gate. And desire is the starting point of all achievement. You begin to fall in love. You see the world through the prism of what it is you want. Things keep popping up. Oh, well, think about when you're pregnant or you've been pregnant or you know someone who's been pregnant. All of a sudden, everybody's pregnant. Have you noticed? Because it's top of mind for you. So it doesn't mean that people have just popped out on the sidewalk pregnant. It means that your awareness is pinpointed on what you love, which is being pregnant. And it can be anything. It's the new car that nobody has, and you get it, one of the first ones, and then all of a sudden the road is filled with them. It has to do with you, the internal perception, which is always growing or disintegrating, but mostly growing. So desire requires thinking about it, visualizing about it as though you already have it several times a week. Briefly each day, just a picture in your mind of what it's like to already have it, because it'll exhilarate you and you have to keep your vibration high in order to cause what you want to come to you. Another whole story. So through repetition in spaced intervals over time, thinking about this, discussing it with your accountability partner, focusing on it, doing other things too. That's why 1 goal instead of 21, so that you can watch the process, so you can repeat the process. What begins to happen is you build faith in 3 levels. And we learned that in the 3rd week, that you go through a process when you're achieving something. First, when you start out, you think, okay, I'm going to give this a whirl. I'm not sure. And then as you move through halfway, which I use 12 weeks, that model works very nicely. Then around 6 weeks, you notice some things start to happen. You notice people and opportunities showing up that you thought were coincidences, but how in the world did they know that this is exactly what you needed? Because you were cause in the matter. Do you know how? No, but I can assure you that there is no such thing as a coincidence. There's more to the picture in higher awareness that you're just unaware of right now. But it doesn't mean that you don't know instinctively if it resonates with you and if it's right. You don't have to know the science behind it to know that it works and that our universe is love, and universe and God and all of the labels or the ways we like to dream about and visualize about God is the same thing, which I see as a big fat bundle of energetic love that is omnipresent, that is always with us through our intuition, and that wants us to have everything we want. What if that's God or Jesus or Buddha or Allah or Krishna? Isn't it all the same? That one source. Can't we agree on that? Are you in the place to agree on that? I wasn't at one point. Hey, Harvey, so glad you're here. I need to look over here. Okay, we got a yes. Oh, there's Mariana. I'm so excited you're here. And we're at 10:18. So you guys know I lost the vision in my right eye recently. So it's an adjustment. But boy, am I grateful that's all it was. Right? Think about that. Not a minute of fear around that. Okay, so Christy. Peter is here. Peter Mulfler. Get to know him. He is looking for work in HR, and he's a wonderful karaoke singer. Hello, Vinay. So glad you're here. And Mariana is here from Belgrade. And oh my goodness, Balasubramanian. Welcome. And Harvey, hey. Okay, let's just see what Harvey says. Harvey's been doing this for over a year. A year ago, after listening to your teachings, you struck a chord with me with the phrase definite purpose. I took my then 20 goals and focused on the one that has been my focus for 4 consecutive periods of 3 months. And I'm delighted to say that I believe I am 1 week from achieving it. Fantastic. That's just wonderful. And, really, how does that make you feel? Look at that. You went through milestones, Harvey. And all Harvey really did was come here every week. I mean, we didn't talk at all other than this. We run a couple of other shows together, but this is what happens. And it's this process that he repeated. This is why you do one goal and you use the same process over and over again so that you know the process. This is what I figured out over 17 years and brought 500 people through their separate goals. It's not, well, let me put 500 goals, 12-week goals achieved, whether it was franchise, entrepreneurship. Gosh, I just did a medical device company in 2.5 years. They blew it out of the water. 100 goals, all documented from beginning to end. What was the project? So the process works whether you're a franchise like Harvey or whether you're in corporate, right? Because I absolutely teach this in corporate, or did teach this in corporate, but it's also beautiful for entrepreneurs. It works for humans. Thank you, Harvey. All right, let's see who else we have here. I love this. Okay, all right. So faith, 3 levels. Through spaced, repetitive intervals over time, you're thinking about the thing you love, the definite purpose, why you love it. Everything shows up for you amazingly because you're causing the matter. What you want is moving toward you at the same amplitude of cellular vibration you're moving toward it. Now, can I tell you all the physics behind it? It's quantum physics. This is how I explain it so that we can begin to realize that just because we don't know how something works yet, doesn't mean it doesn't work. So this is part of faith. Then the third piece, okay, so that's halfway through with faith. Now you have a firm opinion. Now people have been showing up, excuse me, in your life that are giving you the answers. So now you're going, okay, well, maybe this stuff does work. And then ultimately, when you hold the goal in your hand, you have perfect faith in your ability and your deservability. Because remember, this is something you've never done. So your natural fears are going to come up. Who do you think you are? Right? What are your fears of criticism? Or you failed at it. So it takes the definite purpose and the deep desire. It's all done through autosuggestion, which is the 4th principle of success. Repetition is the first law of learning. You review this, visualize it, read about it, not a lot, but every day a little bit. Do 2 tasks a week. You don't have to inundate yourself with everything about it. I mean, it's a bit obsessive, right, when you do this, right? That's why I say only do 1, because you have a family and you have a life and you're supposed to be able to relax. But just think about the people who have done amazing things. They were so in love with it. They were obsessed. And let me just say, instead of obsessed, let me change that word, thanks to my friend Jay Pasqua, to compelled. You become compelled to do something. Okay, let me see who else is here. Yeah. All right. Okay, good. All right, so then we go on. We learned about imagination. It's the workshop of the mind. That's where your visualization is. You've got 2 kinds of imagination. You have creative imagination, that idea that pops into your mind and you're going, where did that come from? And then as soon as you get that idea, if you decide to hold on to it and think about it, all of a sudden synthetic imagination comes in and starts filling in the pieces. Well, I could do this, and I don't know how to do it, but I could use this through my experience. So then last week we did decision. If you have a definite purpose and you've fallen in love with it, and you're beginning to have perfect faith that it's going to happen, and you're following the process, decisions are a breeze. but they're the opposite of procrastination, which is the biggest pain we all have. Why? Because we don't know what we want. So if you're going toward a goal and somebody offers you another thing to do before the goal is done, you ask yourself the question, if I take this on right now, will it take me directly to my goal or not? And if it won't, don't do it now. That is for most people. But there's a lot of people that are geniuses already. And there are a few people that can do more than one goal that I happen to know. But I'm not going to. There's Lisa. Hi, Lisa. So glad you're here. I haven't seen you. Okay, there you go. I'm looking up the list. All right. So today we're doing persistence, the sustained effort to induce faith. And one of the things that I wanted to show you, let me go back here for just a second. So you might wonder why I picked a picture of marathon runners, because the story is really about a singer and an author. I wanted to bring this in because persistence shows up in sports. Like, I think we all get that. So have you ever been in the first, second, or third place in a sport pretty consistently? Or have you competed in different sports and you've had private lessons and you were in love with it? You were probably in hate with it certain days too, but you were obsessed with it, everything about it. My grandson, baseball, during baseball season, oh my God, right? Everything baseball, practice, hitting, coaching. So I think that people in the field of sports understand these principles better than the rest of us. So if you've been in sports, you kind of know you have an edge. You're doing what only 2 people out of 100 would do. And it reminded me of Michael Phelps and even Mark Spitz. Years before, you probably don't know who he is. These are swimmers. What is it that has Michael Phelps or any swimmer consistently come in first place by a fraction of a second? Not even a second. What distinguishes them and their level of persistence from everybody else? Because everybody else, but there's a level of persistence. And it reminded me of the Japanese word kaizen. And very simply, what it is, what Michael Phelps does, what the 1 or 2 people do, if you're familiar with this term, they do one extra thing every day that nobody else does. Maybe it's a half a lap or 1 lap every day. One extra thing every day. And that is what distinguishes them from everybody else. That's what the 2% are doing. They have such a definite purpose and they are so deeply in love with the sport, the win, the way they feel, the whatever it is, that the reason that they're doing this right now, they're in love with it, deeply in love. It's the main thing on their mind. That is persistence. That's one context, right? And that's why I put this up here. All right, so let's move into the stories here. So this is about concepts and stories. And what I wanted to share with you is this story about a woman and another woman, actually. And in Napoleon Hill, unfortunately, I think I can do this. I think I can make myself bigger and the picture smaller for this. That is, if I can see the cursor long enough to hit the button. Oh, this is awful. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Oh, hell's bells. I can't do it. It's fine. Resources are low, I guess. Okay. Napoleon Hill Most of the stories in Think and Grow Rich are about men. I mean, remember, this was 100 years ago. I don't know if we were voting, probably, but businesses were run by men. And really, up until about 40 years ago, primarily it was male oriented. But what I've discovered through observation and research is that right around in the 70s, when there were two parents in a very expensive home, and then the divorce occurred, they lost those homes, and then we had single parent families, and then as women became business owners, more divorces for first marriages, 50%, 75% for second and third marriages. They had to go into business. But 100 years ago, not so much. But it shows that definite purpose, desire, and persistence are available to men and women. And I'm singling those out to tell you, without those, you won't accomplish anything. Not intentional. There are 13 principles. The more of them you use, the more aware you become, the less work you have to do, because you realize this stuff is already out there. You just didn't know. There's a lot of things to cover you, right? So this story is about a young girl 100 years ago, 1915, 110 years ago, came from Ohio to New York, along with thousands of writers and authors. Everybody was going to Broadway, the Great White Way, to be in theater, to get their books published. New York was the hub. And this young girl wanted to be a writer and was a writer. But now, what distinguished her to be in the 2 of 100 is this didn't happen overnight. You can figure, right? She had a definite purpose. She was burning with desire and compelled to be published. And by day, she walked the streets of Broadway, and at night, she prayed and she hoped. Now, this young woman, Fannie Hurst, submitted 36 stories to the New York Post. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, gosh. Saturday Evening Post. That was it. I'm pretty sure that was it. Anyway, 36 rejections. Most of us would have gone home after one or two. But she didn't stop. And finally, after 4 years and submitting and walking the streets of Broadway, and while the rest of us would have been doing something else, she's still doing it. And so finally, Broadway said, okay, you've done enough work. This is what happens when you set a goal that is bigger than you're capable of yet. So that's when the universe will hold back. If it's so huge, okay, we're good time. If it's so huge that you are not a match for it in awareness, and it won't be happy for you. Remember that the universe wants you to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. Wants you to have everything you want, and will send it as long as your cellular vibration is happy, healthy, and wealthy. That's how the universe knows what you want, by the way you feel. And what you predominantly feel is what your results are going to be. There will be negatives, but just always aspire to find the good in everything, right? When you're frustrated with someone, when you can, think about that they have stuff going on in their lives that have nothing to do with you. But there will be times when you'll be frustrated. It's not wrong. It's this aspiration to constantly be aware as much as possible about what we're thinking. And our reactions from fear is not thinking, it's reacting. So it really takes something. Doing this work really builds your intellectual muscles, right? Perception, imagination, intuition, memory, reason, and will are the 6 spiritual warriors consciously that we're building to catch those lousy moods and flip them on their ear. So What happened with Fannie Hurst was once that happened, she received for her, hang on a second, for her unpublished work called Great Laughter, a commission in advance of publishing it of $100,000. That was unheard of. No one had ever had that kind of forward or whatever advance. No one had. But once the trough broke through, the money trough, once she had put in the 4 years and had not given up, the universe finally said, okay, you win, Fannie Hurst. That's when movies started. And so the money that was coming in now was flooding in because money in movies, she couldn't keep up with it. And just so you know, oh my God, here we go. These are her movies. Now, some of these, oh, the dates, you can't see the dates here. Let's see if I move this around. You will. Oh, no, we're back to this where I can't see the cursor. Oh, wait. Let me just see. I have it's too low on the screen. That's okay. But these are old. This one was like 1914. So she stopped doing that in 1961. These are all famous. Your mothers and grandparents know these, right? These are what they grew up with. Now, one other, let me just go back here for a second. One other woman is Kate Smith. Now, Kate Smith was a singer, and she herself, there are those thousands of people that had come to New York to break into Broadway and writing, etc. There were singers. So Kate Smith is another woman who actually did the same thing in the sense that was so compelled, had such a definite purpose to sing and entertain that she beat out everybody through persistence. But how did she do it? She built perfect faith in her ability and deservability. She fell in love with the idea of doing that. So these are two women, lots of examples of men in Think and Grow Rich, which just goes to show you that persistence is available to all of us. Every one of these principles we can use. And men already know these principles kind of inherently because a lot of them are business principles. But in knowing it inherently is not the ability to distinguish the process so that you could repeat it. So yes, you know it, you have a resonance towards certain things already, but that is not necessarily an advantage. It helps because we had to build their resonance for these principles because remember, women come from a completely different background. But you will see, for 5,000 years, women have been nurturing while men were doing business. So this does, though, pertain to women. And that's part of the work I started in 2013 was women coming into the workforce as business owners and didn't know any of this. I mean, they would come in and cry at work and wiggle and jiggle and wet cleavage and all that. And I basically taught them how to match the context, to be a chameleon, to observe what men are doing in business, right? And kind of follow suit, not to give up who you are, but not to stick out like a sore thumb. Okay, how's everybody doing? Oh, there's Dennis. Hi, Dennis. Haven't seen you in such a long time. I'm so glad you're here. And Leanna, let me just see what Dennis said. Makes sense at purpose. Yeah, I would say so. They go everywhere. I mean, there's one right here in front of you. Purposeful. I guess some of the things that I've done, I don't know. I remember somebody, thank you for that, Dennis. So thank you for being here. I've missed you. I remember someone telling me who was half my age, wow, Leslie, how can you have 12 books? I said, well, you're only half my age. You got a long way to go. I want to do that. Well, you got time. right? So it's all relative, isn't it? Let me just see. Dennis is busy here. Ashif, hi, Ashif. I'm so glad you're here. All right. So if you have any questions, now is the time to ask them. I have to see what I have next. We're getting close to the end here. So here's the thing about well, no, let's go to this. Here we go. Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, let's move to here. So we've just finished up persistence. Now, understand that purpose, definite purpose, is a given. And Harvey said he dropped from 20 goals to 1. Now, it depends on how long it takes. So some goals are going to take several increments of 12 weeks or 3 months, right? So you can kind of look at it in phases. That's what I did in the medical devices company, because they had projects that were due in a year, but there were phases along the way. So as we broke them up into 12 weeks so they could stay very focused on what was the result that they had to have to the customer who was paying them by this time. What had we promised them? Now in corporate, this isn't all about a dream because you already have your salary. You're already doing your work. But so where I went with that was the impact that their definite purpose of completing the goal would have on everyone, the public, and also their own staff, their families. So bringing this in on time, what is the impact of doing that? And we're all in service to the public, service to each other. That's, I believe, our overall purpose. So next week, what we're going to do is take a look at the sixth sense, which is intuition. Hey, Blessings, so glad you're here. I recommend you listen to this again. Remember that it's purpose, desire, and persistence that you must get to have what you want. However, if you learn this linearly, you will build an understanding of the process and be able to repeat it for success. It is a repeatable process. It's actually called the transmutation of radiant energy, which is one of the universal laws. But don't let all those words bother you. This is how ideas turn from thought energy into physical matter. You get an idea, you begin to visualize it, you're compelled to do this. You think about it all the time. You're starting to fall in love with it. Pretty soon, things start showing up. And everyday miracles show up. People showing up with the right answers. You're doing this all repeatedly. You're using your imagination as the visualization tool. You're making decisions based on purpose. Right? Will it take you directly to your goal? And then you do it consistently in spaced intervals. You don't give up. Now, next week, we'll bring in intuition. You will love intuition because the sixth sense is one of those mental muscles I mentioned. And I'll bring in a model for you to see that. But what we're doing here is coming every week, we're developing perception, imagination, intuition, memory, reason, and will, or focus, by repeating all this. So go listen to the you don't have to read anything else. Honestly, it's a big book. If you just listen to this, you'll be good. If you want to read the chapter that we're working on, that works too. Then we'll get into the subconscious. We'll talk about the 6 basic fears, and we'll be on to something new. I'm not sure what it's going to be. It may be this again. I've been doing this a long time. All right. So here we go. Next Monday, we're going to continue with measuring emotional intelligence. We're looking at the 7 levels of emotional intelligence and conscious awareness. Please join us at 10 o'clock. It's a longer discussion. You can come on stage, and my co-host is Nicole, wonderful co-host, and she's also the producer behind the scenes. So I hope you've enjoyed all this. Let me just see what else we have here. Oh, for goodness sake. You know what? It's okay. Here we go. Maybe this will do it. There we go. Okay, so we're finished. We completed. So did you enjoy this, everybody? You can give me some hearts or whatever. I'm going to try to move this out of here if I can. If I can stop sharing, I'll find a way to. Here we go. This whole business of not seeing is just. There we go. Okay, here we go. It's a challenge. But I will tell you, my friends, that I haven't been afraid once about this. I am so grateful and I'm learning. I'm just moving through my winter, enjoying exactly what it is and what it isn't, not worrying about a lot of things that I used to worry about, and mostly making sure I don't leave this planet with some really good stuff inside of me that I haven't given you yet. So that's my plan, to hurry up and get it out to you, because what am I going to do with it once I'm gone, right? Anyway, thank you all so much. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, everyone. Just know that anything is possible. Be one of the 2 people out of 100 that does something extraordinary. How? Well, you're going to have a compelling purpose to make a difference in the world. Doesn't always have to be the same one. It can change decade to decade, but it's got to drive you. You have to be driven, okay, to keep it top of mind. Children are very good at this. All right, so it's Friday. We're moving in the United States into a long weekend. Happy Memorial Day. Wherever you are, know that you can always come here and I will give you everything I know to get your mind cooking. And when you're ready for something, it'll get clear. And if it's confusing, forget about it. Move on to the next thing. When you're ready, the universe will open up the light bulb. So you're not doing anything right or wrong. Just be present and don't make it mean anything if you don't understand it. Just move on to the next thing. When you hear it again, or you hear it again, you'll get it. Because we're always moving up in conscious awareness. We slip back a little bit. We're always moving up. So as you go out into the world, oh, Elizabeth, that's a big O. All right, we're a little bit over. I'm going to sing this song for you again. Stay as long as you want. I just love this song. Sometimes I just sing it to myself. Right? I just love it. So you can leave whenever you like. Once it's done, I will end the live. And if you have time, watch it again. See if you get something new. I do every time. Love will abide. Take things in stride. Sounds like good advice, but there's no one at my side, and time washes clean love's wounds unseen. And that's what someone told me, but I don't know what it means. 'Cause I've done everything I know to try and make you mine. And I think I'm gonna love you for a long, long time. Caught in my fears, blinking back the tears. I can't say you hurt me, when you never let me near, and I never drew one response from you. And all the while you fell all over girls you never knew. 'Cause I've done everything I know to try and make you mine. And I think it's gonna hurt me for a long, long time. Hi, you guys. Oh, there's Sean Michael. Hi, Sean. Wait for the day you'll go away, knowing that you warned me of the price I'd have to pay. And life's full of flaws. Who knows the cause? Living in the memory of a love that never was. 'Cause I've done everything I know to try and make you mine. And I think I'm going to miss you for a long, long time. 'Cause I've done everything I know to try and make you mine. And I think I'm gonna love you for a long, long time.